Hello, my name is Carol May Whittick and you're listening to Higher Energetic Resonance Inspirations, and this is week 4 of my series on creativity, and this week I'm talking about authenticity, your unique expression. And as you journey with me through this series, I really hope that you uncover new possibilities within your own creativity and recognise how it converges with and reveals your spirituality. Once we recognise ourselves as the artists of our lives, every action, word and moment becomes profound. And before we go deeper into this episode, I just want to share with you some ways that I can support you. First, you're listening to Her Inspirations. And also, if you join the mailing list, you'll receive emails with additional teaching points and resources for you to explore deeper on your own personal inquiry. And if you're someone who has always wanted to be heard in the world, whether that means through your own podcast, social media content, public speaking, or showing up in your life, I've created Your Awakened Voice. This is my course which uses my holistic approach that acknowledges the intricate connection between your physical body, mind and spirit. This course empowers you to discover and develop your voice. Or maybe you're ready to work with me one-to-one. If you know that there's a purpose to your life, my purpose is here to support you. And in particular, I'm speaking to you, sisters over 40. I'm helping you to trust your intuition, rediscover your innate creativity, and use your decades of wisdom to design a purposeful life. All the links to these are in the show notes. Authenticity, your unique expression. From Carl Jung, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. What is authenticity? True authenticity is met when you fearlessly communicate from your inner voice, your intuition, as I discussed in last week's episode, that still small voice. Authenticity is aligning with your true self, your values, and expressing them genuinely and without pretense, to the extent that to do anything else will actually feel very uncomfortable. Although it's more comfortable to be in authenticity, this is not necessarily the easy road to take in this world where the external pull to conform is so powerful that few people have the courage and the strength to fully express themselves authentically. They're up against the inner and the outer expectations while they're still striving to be authentic. Things like going up against societal norms, cultural conditioning, and also personal insecurities can hinder anybody from expressing their true selves authentically. Because we're wired for survival and we fear judgment. Nobody really likes it. And the rejection that often accompanies authentic self-expression will then always trigger those core fears that we have, and we'll do anything to stay away from them, which is why it's easier to play along and wear a mask. So what are some ways of overcoming this fear and cultivating the courage to be authentic? First, it comes with that deep self-awareness of what we're truly afraid of. What is it that we think that will happen to us when we express ourselves in whatever way authentically? And is that a real or an imagined danger? Why are we so afraid to be our true selves? And then when we look at that perceived danger, we can measure that against the discomfort of stepping out and being ourselves, and the things that we may need to face as we're going through that. We will face that discomfort and have a true idea of what it is that you want to achieve in your life. Not just about the outward rewards, but also how do you want to feel in yourself? And once you really know what that goal is, then everything else and every discomfort that you have to go through then just becomes part of the journey, because getting to the goal and getting to that satisfaction of self and expression, it becomes more important than whatever you're feeling. It makes it easier to go through those discomforts, that fear, that judgment. And by keeping going forward with that, then you actually start to build up more of a resilience. You start to recognize where the noise is coming from a lot of the time, especially when the noise is coming externally. Why are people so afraid or against you expressing yourself authentically? Because if you're coming from your heart, then surely they're not going to be harmed by that. But people can see harm in others' authenticity often because it's a reflection of the way that they're being inauthentic, and having that mirror held up to ourselves sometimes is very uncomfortable. If you're seeking personal fulfillment, inner peace, spiritual growth, and that true confidence within yourself, and that full and genuine expression in your creativity, whatever you are using your creativity for, authenticity is essential, because by embracing your authenticity, you then discover a deeper self of self-awareness. You build on that empowerment within yourself as well. You're radiating that out. Then your connections with others will change. You will desire and thrive on truer and deeper connections with other people, and particularly those who are going on a similar journey of delving into and discovering their own authenticity. You'll get to a point of depth and realness so much quicker, because they've been on that journey themselves. They know what you've been through, you know what they've been through, and you thrive and you thirst for that real connection, because you know when everyone's wearing the mask and pretending to be who or what they should be, it's kind of a dance. It's not a static state. You know that people will change with the wind, because that's the way that everyone's looking at the time, and this is the right thing to do. As you build that deeper connection with yourself, as you honor and respect that deeper connection that you have with others, then it blossoms into that deeper connection that you have with God, with universe, with the divine. And then as a result of that, you're getting more now to really recognize and honor your own unique essence. You see that your individuality, your quirks, your idiosyncrasies are a part of your signature creative inspiration and expression, and you allow yourself to open up, and the more that you allow yourself to open up and surrender into that, it just creates more of a spiritual depth, more of an appreciation and gratitude for who you are, and the fact that you're discovering this difference, and it's igniting a curiosity about who you are, and ultimately a curiosity, as we were in episode 2, I think, a curiosity of who you can be. And the more that you are in that curiosity, then the more that you're open, and the more that you will receive in response of being in that state of curiosity. You embrace your difference. The more you lean into it, the more that you find aspects about yourself that are different from others. You're like, what is this? How can I find out more and dive more into this part of myself, and that sees the world in a different way? That authenticity then just enhances everything that you do, the way that you speak, the way that you dress, the way that you express yourself, and it will enrich everything you put out into the world, and it will draw people to you, because they will want to know who and what you're about. If you think about the people we admire for their innovation in whatever field, they have a signature style. They have a way of doing things, of a way of loving, of speaking, and whichever way their creativity is expressed is why we're drawn to them. And then ultimately we're repelled by anyone who tries to be like a dupe of that, a duplication. Poor imitations of anything are where we can see that someone has not really understood where the core of that creator came from. We can see that someone's just kind of glanced over the surface details and just kind of copied those things. And there's no depth, and we're aware of it. We feel it. We know that something is not right. So what do you do if you don't know where to start? Well, you start by asking yourself, who am I? What's my voice? How can I discover my own authenticity? And you can start by using other people as a source of inspiration to discover their journey, to understand their sources, to understand their influences and their mentors, and just see as well how their journey has changed. Again, I'm talking about anybody in any field. How are people living their lives? How are they showing up? How have they changed over the years? What have they learnt about themselves that made them become more and more magnetic? And that magnetism comes from their authenticity. And then you can learn by emulation. Maybe you want to imitate, maybe you want to copy. And we copy by, and that's meaning by standing on the shoulder of the giants, being inspired by the people who have gone before, recognize they have a process and kind of learn their process, and then start to move away from everything that looks like them and infuse what it is about you into that process as well. Add your twist, your originality, your whatever you can see. Like, you'll get to a certain point when you've learnt a process from someone where you're like, I think I can do this, or you've got a question about how something can change. And also look at the things that everyone sees in the world. Is it possible that there's a way that you can see common things differently? Is there a way that you can really ask a question from your own perspective and infuse it with your own knowledge and questions? And if you were to do something different, what is it that you would do? There's a quote that I love from CEM Jode. Creativity is knowing how to hide your sources. Don't be afraid of these mistakes and flaws, and this is what holds people back, this belief that everything has to be perfected. We are living, we're evolving in every day, we're a works in process until the day that we stop being in this space. So open up to those areas as you're discovering things about yourself, and put what it is out there to the world. Show yourself, show your vulnerability, and your vulnerability opens you up to more creativity, and again will most likely garner you an authentic response. And as you're doing that, as you're deepening your own inquiry into who you are and what you're about, as you're becoming more vulnerable in the way that you share and you explore those things, you're going to find that because it doesn't kill you, it's making you stronger, and you build a resilience to work through any of the discomfort that you may encounter. And then you become more accepting of your own process, more trusting of yourself, and you understand more about how you work, and you respect that you are different from other people, and you're glad of it, because that is the hallmark of your own authenticity. And bringing authenticity into all aspects of life is remembering this is your creation. Your life is your creation. Your life is your expression. This is you living your spiritual life and leading you to feel and expand a sense of fulfillment and alignment. You inspire others to do the same just by living yourself, and not necessarily even by forcing what you're doing into the faces of others. People are always watching you, and they will recognize when a change has happened within you, when something has turned a corner and something new is being birthed around you. And it will, for those who are ready to embrace that within themselves, they will want to do the same. They will want to see how they can better themselves, how being authentic is actually more of a power, and what it brings to you, and the gifts that authenticity brings to your life. And if you're new on your path of authenticity, I would say to use your journal to express how you truly feel about life and the world as well. You know, maybe there are things that you want to say that you're not yet feeling confident enough to voice, but we need to get these things out. We need to get these things out of our heads, out of our minds, out of our hearts, and just writing them down, getting them onto the page, and maybe not even looking at them again, but it will just get you to also recognize that there is something about you, there's something valid about what you're saying, instead of spinning it around in your head or blurting it out at the wrong moment, or trying to have a conversation with somebody who's not necessarily ready to receive what it is that you want to talk about, especially as you're exploring ways that you may be different. And especially if that means as you start to shift and change, people may think that they may lose you. And ultimately what they're losing is the version of you that doesn't want to stay the same. And you may not feel strong enough yet to be able to communicate where you see yourself going, what you're feeling about how you need to change, and that the fact that there's no loss to them if they allow you to be who you are. They might meet a version of you in the future that they're closer to, more aligned with. And within that, journaling and also meditation is great for this as well. You can also look at how you arrived at this point. You can look at how your journey, how your experiences, how your perspectives have brought you into this space of authenticity. That process, that journey, those shifts in perspectives and what actually made those perspectives change can be part of what it is that you put forward in the world, whatever that means for you. So as we go forward, I'm thinking we need authenticity, we need humanity, we need each and every one of us to express our own authenticity, particularly in the face of AI. Being true to our humanness, being connected to our spirituality, our intuition, is then being able to still put into the world what it is to be a human, what human expression looks like versus artificial manipulated expressions, so that people can still see the difference between what real expression feels like and what assimilation will feel like as well. This is more and more important as we go into 2024. There is so much fakery out there, and people who are not aware are being pulled into a vortex of fakery and not necessarily able to see how they are being manipulated and being drawn away. And I believe it's because they haven't discovered the authenticity within themselves to be able to recognize when things that are coming at them are not authentic. So if you've ever thought that you want to make a difference in the world and change the world, it starts with finding out who you are. Know that you have the courage within you to be yourself and honor those unique gifts, honor your unique perspective, honor the unique contribution that you can bring to the world, because we need it. This is what you came for. From Eckhart Tolle, only the truth of who you are, if realized, will set you free. Thank you so much for listening in to part 4, enjoying this series, and I hope you are too. If you want to find out more about me, reach out to me on my website, carolmaywhittick.com, CarolMaywhittick.com. You can also find me on Instagram, Kazmic, CAZMICK, and on Facebook and LinkedIn, Carol May Whittick. Until the next episode and next week, be authentic, be you. Speak soon.